All right, welcome in to the final installment of the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Peruzzi Buick GMC. So here we are. You lasted the whole season with me. I appreciate it. We just shared an off-camera hug, maybe. We'll let the listeners use their imagination.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Off-camera.
Either one. Crazy season. I was texting over the weekend. Off the field, on the field, it was a very trying season for these Redskins. You had a little lull period, week 3 and 4 against Saturday and Tennant. You guys really turned it around, and you cap off the season with a loss at Coatesville. But give me from training camp to where we are now your perspective of the season as a whole.
Well, I told the guys after the game that I really have to look pretty far to find a team that I'm more proud of.
Yeah.
They've come a long way, and not the physical part of it. I mean, they were talented players. We had some good players on our team, but the whole team concept, the whole issue, and went through some pretty trying times. Back-to-back losses, and to see them come back the way they have, and to find ways to fight after that, and win a couple games, and then gather some momentum, and then start playing better, and then playing better against better teams, and then kind of get on a little bit of a roll, and to see them play the way they played, I'm happy for them. This is what the coaching staff has been saying to them, and stay together, play together, and work together, and let our talents take over, and that was kind of what happened, and that part of it was good. I mean, this past game was a little disappointing. It got out of hand. I mean, we didn't give up. We tried to do some things, and we had a pick six in a short field, and going for it and such, which might have made the score a little bit different. But if you win by, if you don't win by a touchdown, or you don't win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, I mean, really, to me, it's still a loss. And a lot of guys got on the field, got to be a part of things, and I was happy to see that. And all the credit to Coatesville. I think they played one of their better games of the year. They're a very talented team to begin with, and they played great. And so hopefully for them, they can make a little bit of a run to justify the fact that they beat us and give us a little bit of credibility. But I thought they were a classy group of football team. I thought Matt Ortega and his staff did a super job, and it was a great night for football. The stadium was terrific, and the way they take football seriously is a lot like the way we do things, and they're very excited about where they're going.
We're going to talk about this season as a whole right now. I'll take a short break, and then we'll come back and talk about the next season. But this season, we talked a lot about the underclassmen coming in, and some other guys we didn't know much of coming into the season. Nate Hall, and we didn't know how productive Hugh Hart was going to be just because of being a first-year star as a senior. But late in the season, Hugh did a pretty good job the first couple weeks of playoffs of managing the game and being a game manager. And Nate Hall was always productive for you guys, and a guy that really didn't get a lot of reps before he came here to Chamois at running back, and kind of just exploded on the scene this year. Did a good job for you. And any other guys you want to mention?
Well, I think they're 2 good guys. They're 2 good examples of guys that gave everything they had. And Nate constantly had to be taught a little bit about how to play running back out of the I formation. It was a little different type of offense and stuff, and I'm not exactly sure how it all went where he was, but here, he had to learn a little bit about squaring up and hitting it and playing underneath certain ways, and he did. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. When you meet him, you say, "Wow!" But I'll tell you what, he took some hits. I mean, he took the football. He secured the football at the end of the season. I mean, I think all 3 playoff games, not 1 fumble. I mean, he did some things that were just terrific, and I couldn't be prouder of him. Hugh always, he started off being the guy, then we were kind of off and on, and finally we just went with Hugh because of he every week he came in here with a smile on his face, and every week he came in here to make us better. And Pennsbury game wasn't one of his best, and he knew that, and to his credit, he made the playoffs something that was he fixed that, played very well and managed our team and our offense, and our team had a lot of confidence in them. And they're just two guys, you know, Waterbury and McKenzie, and you know these seniors. Tosh Thompson, Brian Toll, Steve Alinsky, you know, Darrell Kennedy, Duncan Mullen. I mean, all these seniors have done so well, you know, and Justin. I mean, you know, what he's done for us, and you know, we wish him the best with his recovery and such. And you know, losing him, I got to give credit to the two guys that stepped in for him. I mean, you know, Denzel Hughes is a freshman, and Matt Maggs went in for Devin Brown, and they both played great. They both played hard. What happened was, those guys were really giving us a great look on scout team. Well, now they had to play on the varsity, and that's where our scout team, you know, you couldn't reproduce Coatesville's speed. And that was the one thing that we really, you know, tried to impress upon the guys. But it was really hard for that first, you know, half of the game to really just get used to it, because they all can run. Yeah. And but those guys had provided that to us most of the year, and then they played a little bit of varsity. But now they had to be thrust into the starting role, which kind of sucked a little bit out of our scout team, and you know, that kind of caught us a little bit off balance there in the beginning, because they just were so fast. So you know, but they got great experience and they played great. So you know, that's a good thing.
You know, you kept talking, and I asked you hard after a game, you know, the whole legacy mantra of what kind of legacy you want to leave as a senior and as a Neshannock Redskin. Do you think they heeded those words and really tried to leave a lasting legacy that, listen, you don't have to have the D1 prospects, the blue chippers. If you go out and buy into the system as a whole, you can be successful.
Well, I think they did, because we talked about that. I mean, you know, it's being here as long as I have been here. You know, you see a lot of guys come back that have had good years. Mm-hmm. You don't see a lot of guys come back, unfortunately, that don't. And it's sad. But it's reality. And you know, the 2001 team is having their anniversaries now, reunions, and you know, you can't get in a place. Whereas other years it's a little different. So these guys, we talked about that early in the middle of that season about, you know, finishing the job, and they did. And I think they can hold their heads very high and know that they went out and really kept Neshaminy football in a good place, and represented our school with pride and with honor.
9-win season, District 1 semifinal. You guys go to that, lose to Coatesville. In a whole, whether it's a sentence or a word, give me your thoughts on this 2012 team as a whole, from what you've seen from, I mean, January all the way now to December.
Well, I think they have a lot of resolve. I think, you know, I think a lot of guys have come full cycle. Some guys kind of had to come off their high horse. Some guys had to kind of settle down. Some guys had to kind of pick it up. Everybody kind of met in the middle, and as a group. And I think if you look at the big picture and you watch them play, and I think that's how they do it. They all try to do their job, and they quit counting how many plays they're playing and started worrying about making plays when they get the play. And you know, so making the most of what they're doing. So and that's the stuff that we've talked about. And so for the most part, I think our guys have left here with some positives in that regard.
Yeah. All right, we're going to see more positives as we get set for next year's season. It's already December, but let's start thinking about in the future now. Let's get that thinking. You know, we can't thank the 2012 team enough for allowing me all the access to bug them after games, give them free hoagies and whatever else I had for them. But we're going to take a short break, come back into next year's squad for a few minutes, and wrap up the final edition of the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, and Peruzzi Buick GMC. Right back.
Jenny from Cherry Hill says that robotic-assisted surgery at Aria Health saved her life. When Jenny was diagnosed with lung cancer, her goal was to find the best surgeon and hospital with the most advanced technology to treat her. And she found it at Aria Health's Torresdale campus, where Dr. Richard Chang is the only surgeon in the region performing robotic-assisted thoracic surgery. She was also relieved to know that Aria has a minimally invasive robotic surgery center, eliminating a lengthy stay in the hospital. Thanks to Dr. Chang and Aria Health, Jenny is now cancer-free. To learn more about Jenny's story, visit ariahealth.org/Jenny. Jenny. That's ariahealth.org/Jenny.
This is Larry at Peruzzi Buick GMC. You'll hit a home run every weekend at Peruzzi Buick GMC Service Department. Every Saturday and Sunday, Peruzzi Buick GMC is offering a standard oil and filter change for just $19.95. And remember, Peruzzi Buick GMC is open every Sunday from 8 to 5. Peruzzi Buick GMC is the home of the $34.95 Pennsylvania State and Emissions Inspection every day of the week. No matter where you purchase your car or truck, you can get it serviced 7 days a week at Peruzzi Buick GMC. And remember, we're open Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
All right, welcome back into the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, and Peruzzi Buick GMC. 2012 season is wrapped up. It's 4 days old now, so it's like it's so far beyond us. What did Henry David Thoreau say? You know what that is? Walden Pond. Don't look backwards. I'm just going to go that way. So we're going to look forward.
This is very cultured.
I since we get very cultured.
Extremely
Yes,
deep.
This is very deep.
I want everybody to know that this is the place to you want to get everything here.
That's right. That's right. You know it.
This guy.
You know it.
He's a poet and don't know it. Nice.
2013 season now. You got some guys who made some noise this year. They'll be coming back for you. They're going to help your squad out next year. And a couple guys I want to touch on is, we always look for that next big running back. It's, that's what the media guys like to see. The guys that score the touchdowns and throw them, and don't worry the grunt guys, and we'll figure them out when we get to them. But DeAndre Pollard had a pretty nice sophomore year for you. Came in, spelled Nate at times, and looked like he had some good tools you guys could use in the future.
DeAndre has ability. DeAndre's, his issue is he needs to just get in that weight room and work, and as did Nate. And DeAndre is a talented guy. He understands football pretty well when he gets in his hand. He's kind of a natural. But you look back and you see Blake Sullivan, you see Denny Lord,
yep.
You see. And there's Devin Brown, there's Matt Maggs, there's a couple other guys in the 9th grade team that have done well. So, I don't think the running back issue is never really been an issue at our place. But I think the front, the offensive line, with Mike Palmer back, and looked at Danny Johnson and Chuck Coke,
yep.
and so we look at those guys and John Cook, and then you got Luke on one side, and a couple young guys at tight end on the other side, and we've got a couple of young guys that have been going to let her on the offensive line for us. So and I think Cook in the middle, he played last year, and then this year he played the whole year. Those guys, when you have that experience down the middle,
yep.
and full back and then at the center position and in those guard spots, and you can do some things. And then obviously the tight end with Luke really kind of took a step in the right direction second half of the season, and so we'll see.
You mentioned the offensive line was the one area you guys kind of challenged late offensively to kind of step their game up. And Ian Wardberry graduates, but you mentioned a second ago, this is going to be a veteran squad, and you're going to insert some young talent, whether it's Hunter Kelly or those guys in there, and it should be your
talented kid.
Your focal point next year.
He's a 9th grader, and Brendan Byrne, he kind of had a freak injury there week 4, but he was a 4-game starter for us, and he kind of got. When he got healthy again, there was no room. So, there's competition there. And then D-line, Nicholas and that crew is still back. So,
yep.
In our secondary, there's a lot of guys, a lot of candidates. So, I think if you looked at it, and you always got to feel good when your kicker kind of has experience. So, you can look at all those things and say, there's a decent nucleus there. But, the whole thing has to come full cycle. I mean, we've got to see the weight room commitment. We've got to see some of these younger guys step in and accept the challenge and create competition, because I think that's what we had this year. Once we sorted everything out, once everybody kind of accepted that challenges of the competition, I think that made us a better football team.
Is that hard for you two to judge your team? I mean, obviously now it's not even December yet, but even in January, because there's so many variables that, how the guys are in the weight room, if God forbid they get injured in other sports, or whatever it is. When do you start gauging guys as, okay, he can maybe seize time here? Is it the July area during 7-on-7?
Well, I think what you got to do, Matt, is if you can try to, the best way. First of all, don't assume anything in high school football, because shoot, the week before camp starts, somebody, God forbid, can go on vacation, and we've had a kid break his legs, water skiing, for God's sake. So, well, it's happened.
Yeah.
And so that's not an issue. But you want to try to slot kids in position, young guys in position, so that they can get experience as quick as they can, and provide some depth, and see if they can fill into that role and kind of gain that. The last thing you want to do is take a young kid and bounce them around, because they lose that sense of confidence, they lose experience, and they have to keep relearning, and that's hard. So that's kind of what we did when we got into that situation. We had a couple guys banged up in the secondary and this and that, so we moved Matt Maggs there because he's a sophomore to get him reps, and we kept DeAndre at tailback because Nate was a little banged up. So but both those guys, probably could. Matt could be a good tailback, and DeAndre could probably be a good corner. So those things can happen. So now that they're going to be juniors, then you reevaluate and you see what happens for the next team. So that's pretty much that.
Linebacker coming in this year, we thought maybe, or I personally, not you, thought it could be not the strongest part of your defense. You thought athletically you guys were ahead of the curve with your corners and stuff like that, your DNs. But you graduate pretty much a linebacking core, all of seniors pretty much, Brian Toll, and Tosh,
that's an area
and Day Cooper.
That's a big area. Those guys, it was nice to see Tosh really kind of step his game up a little bit, and that's a great example. He wasn't starting in the beginning of the season, and we had an injury, and Tosh got a chance, and he made the most of it. And the other guy, Aaron Brandon, had a chance to come back in, and Day Cooper was playing, and he got hurt, and then another guy came in and played ahead of him. So it's an unfortunate situation for those guys, but it's a good situation that other guys are willing to step in, and that has to make your team better. So, we'll see what happens. We had a solid JV team this year, and I think we went 9-1 or 8-1, and so and usually we win them all, but we didn't win the last one this year. So
it was two.
Pennsbury, we lost by I think it was about a touchdown. So they always have a good club. It's always a Super Bowl, and we'll see what happens. We've got some candidates, but we'll see what happens there. So
we'll end the show with the wideouts. Justin Andrews, unfortunate incident at CB South with the injury to his collarbone on the first kickoff. But the positive is Denzel Hughes got some serious playoff reps, and a guy that I know you're really high on.
Well, Denzel's talent. He's a quality young man.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Quiet, but very hard-working. Yeah, and I think Denzel not knowing he was going to play that much, I think helped Denzel. I think this week, he knew he was going to play a little bit and watch film and such, and when you have that time, you kind of put maybe a little too much in his head. But I thought he battled. I thought he played great. But it's just it's probably a little easier for those younger guys to jump in. Suddenly than to have to spend all week thinking about playing against Coatesville in the semifinals. But happy with him, and we moved Cole over, and then there's Connor, McGarry, and a couple of those other guys, and I know we've got a couple of young guys that are coming up that can run and go. So we'll see what happens, and there's always hopefully we can grab a guy or two in the hallways that might want to make us better. I think Connor joined us this year, and a couple other guys, John Escudero, a couple other guys that joined us that were talented kids that decided to play. Tommy Kryling, great example of what he did for us. So, you look at those guys and you say, that's really pretty cool. So,
all right, that puts a bow on our Coach Mark Schmidt show, presented all year by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Peruzzi Buick GMC. I want to thank the entire coaching staff for putting up with me, Neil French, Dave Ferreira, who just begged and pleaded to be on camera. We just couldn't give it to him. He's got a face for radio, so we just kept it like that. I want to thank you, Coach Mark Schmidt, for allowing all the access to BCB and me bugging you every week to come in here. And there was an over/under on weeks you would have done this, and I think the over won because I think it was 4 weeks. They said you would commit to this before it was Neil French sitting here. Well, you lasted, so I can't thank you enough as well.
Well, I want to thank you guys and Merle Reese and BCB obviously and those guys because it makes Bucks County football exciting, especially Lower Bucks. The rivalries with us in Pennsbury, but it's good to let everybody know that it's important down here, and high school athletics because it's so vital. And you know, people always want to cut this and cut that, and you know, but they're the things that keep young people out of trouble,
right.
and give people goals and give people opportunities and you know, and give them memories that they can build on. And so the fact that you make it important, and the fact that, you know, Friday night at our place, and that most places in Lower Bucks County and Suburban 1 are what they are, and you know, and the fact that you guys, you know, try to make the most of that and expose these young men to and all the other athletes in other sports to you know, to making them feel special. I think that means a lot for them. And on behalf of us, we want to say thank you to you.
We can't thank you enough again. So that's it. We are going in hibernation mode until springtime, where 7-on-7 start, and you'll see the guys shirtless out there on Redskin Way, throwing the pigskin around, and we'll see you next fall. So I want to thank once again Coach Mark Schmidt, Aria Health, Peruzzi Buick GMC. I'm Matt Miro from 1490 WBCB. We'll see you next year, everybody.
Thank you.